Hi, and welcome to Coffee Mind Academy. I'm really excited to show you the academy that we decided to build January 2020. So it's been a bit of a bummer to have so much time to build this place really, because it's been a bit difficult getting students. We've had people here, but now that the world is opening up, I'm really excited to show you this and also hopefully one day show you this in person. So here you see Contra is a roastery, a Danish roastery that we've been working with for many years, and Coffee Mind is naturally inside this building. Coffee Mind is downstairs and upstairs here. And you can see upstairs we've got our studio where we do our educational videos, and downstairs we have our playground with all our roasters. The first roaster is that you can see here is the Aleo Bullet. And the Aleo Bullet is the newest roaster in our academy actually. It's a nice little combination of home roaster actually and pilot roaster. It offers you all the flexibility and precision you would expect from a pilot roaster, and then also has a roast logging software and also control software that is really exactly how I like it in terms of burner profile control and other automations, so that you can design your roast and then let the technology execute your thoughts. It runs from a single phase socket actually, and it doesn't even use the full socket because it is an induction based heating technology where the heat is generated in the drum by a big magnetic field below it. And I've tested this for fast Scandinavian roast, and it can really give you a fast roast, even at a full batch 1 kilo roast. The next roaster that I'd like to show you is the Ikawa that we've been using for years. I think we were amongst the first to use it and be part of also giving some feedback. It's not that I want to take any credit for it, but we've been really happy about this roaster for a research project at the university in the beginning primarily, but certainly also for green coffee roasting on a daily basis. Because if those of you who remember the old 100 gram Probat roasters were really difficult to work with because you had to preheat it and spend a lot of time making sure it was in steady state. And once it was, you could start roasting, and then you really had to concentrate on the roast all the time to make sure that everything progressed as you wanted. So you had to spend all your energy on the roaster while roasting. Where the Ikawa, you'll simply choose your profile you want to roast, send it to the roaster, chuck in the greens, and the next thing you see, the roast is executed and the beans are cooled down. So this means that you can actually do a lot of office work while roasting your greens, which is highly valuable for a busy roastery where you get a lot of emails and other admin stuff. And you can actually do your sample roasting and administration at the same time with this machine. That's a huge time saver. And it also works really well for online learning because it's so easy to send back and forth profiles with the app, so that we can do the same roast in different areas of the world. Then I've got my Probatino. It's an old lady, 2005, but it's more the technology that I feel is a bit old. I absolutely love the drum and the way it heats up the coffee. So it's an amazing machine from a roast technical perspective. If you do a few modifications, I've added a needle valve because it's built in with this Mertec Maxitroll. I think that's the German company making these. And I'm sorry to say, but it really doesn't work because I want precision. And I can tell you, this one directly controls the flame, and the flame is smallest here at 1, and then nothing really happens when you go from 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3, it almost goes from 0 to max flame, and then nothing really happens up until 7. I want to work with high precision. This one really gives you a nice and linear response. And you can see analog here, the size of the flame that correlates with the pressure after the needle valve. And this is also locked directly electronically, and so that it goes through these fidget boards and then directly into Cropster. This way you get the burner profile of your roast. So that's the input parameters, and these are the output parameters. I've also added a frequency modulator so that I can control the airflow. So you can see I've just bypassed the flaps directly here, because I have got no idea the magnitude of actual reduction at the different settings here. So I would rather have a really precise control over the actual speed of the motor. This way there's no guesswork. There's also a signal coming from the frequency modulator into the fidgets and into Cropster. So I also have a log of the airflow during the roasting. The bean probes I wasn't too happy about either. So I've drilled my own. You can see this one was the one it came with, and this is the one that I've added. And you can also see them here. This is the one that I've added, the bean probe, and it gives me much better readings some temperatures I better recognize from other machines. And I've also added an air temperature probe, reading the temperatures directly here where the air is escaping. This one is slow and doesn't really give me any information, and certainly it's not locked automatically. So this is also locked into Cropster. Once you have this machine up and running, it's amazing. It really, you can make very precise adjustments, and you get very precise results in the roast progression when you do something. So I love it from a roast technical perspective, but certainly best after the modifications. Then here is also amongst the newer machines in Coffee Mind Academy. I've been roasting on Coffeetech FZ94 for more than 10 years in London School of Coffee, and also here, Coffee Mind Academy. But recently I got this instead. And this is a really powerful and flexible 7 kilo shop roaster. So you can get a serious amount of coffee made, and you can put it in a shop. I think it's really beautiful to put in a coffee shop. And the power of the flame is really strong, but it's also very, very precise. So you can really have all your creativity put into how you want to roast your coffee. On top of that, you have airflow control as well, and drum speed control. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you roast. And this roaster runs on Artisan. And Artisan can actually not only lock, but can also control the roaster. You can control the parameters directly, but you can also have it follow the curve. So you can automate your roast. I'm actually a big fan of automation, because there's no need for you to do all the things that you plan to do. You might as well have machines doing it, because otherwise in a busy day you might forget, and machines are better at remembering plans. You do the thinking, obviously, but the machine can do the execution. There are some nice features with this machine that it makes it easy to work with in a small coffee shop. For example, you've got a really handy way of emptying the chaff. You can just undo it here, and then you've got wheels on the bottom here, so it's easy to take it somewhere and empty it. And also, the beans, they'll actually fall into this one when you lift the handle here. The beans will fall into this small hopper, also with wheels. So it's pretty handy, even if you don't have a lot of space. So that was the Coffeetech Cylon. Then we've got the Stronghold S7 Pro X. This is by far the most advanced roaster we have from a technology perspective. It has individual control of radiation, contact through a separate heating of the roast drum, and then it's also separate control of the air going through, and also agitation of the batch of roasting beans. So for the first time ever, it's been possible for us to isolate radiation and see how it affects the roast. And we've actually done some really interesting research on this, because we've done a full radiation versus non-radiation, and then we've done aroma chemical analysis and seen how they come out different from an aroma chemical perspective, which is really interesting. That said, I think really the value of the machine is actually the user interface and how easy it is to use, because once you've been playing with all these really advanced parameters, you can log it into a profile, and then it's just with a push of a button, you just choose a profile, and then you press run, and then it runs everything completely as you programmed it. And then the next thing you see is just like the Ikawa. The next thing you see is your beans in the cooling tray cooling down. So it's completely automated, and that's also a big advantage if you want to run this in a coffee shop. That the taking out the beans is automated. That lowers the risks of any fires. So yeah, that was the Stronghold. Then we've got the 1 kilo Loring, and this is we're really proud of having this in the academy, because it's the only one of 2 existing roasters in the world. There's one here in Europe and then one in the US, and it's made for exhibition purposes. So we have this here in between exhibitions, and then we can use it in our academy when we have students, and it feels exactly like roasting on the big one. All the features are identical, and the roast software is of course also the same. This software is amazing if you spend a little time getting to know it. It has a pretty steep learning curve, but once you understand how it has been designed, if you are a roast master, this is it's really a nice piece of software. It's a bit more industrial than the others, and Rob Hoos has been part of building this. So obviously it's really well thought of, and it works very well when you get to know it. You can decide different ways of automation. You can either have PID control, where the burner will follow the curve, or you can replicate the burner profile, or you can of course also do fully manual. And there's a lot of other things you can tweak once you get to know it. So that's our academy, and yeah, this is an amazing playground, we think. And another great thing about our academy is that it's situated at Contra Coffee in Copenhagen. So you can see this is our place, and then just next door we've got Contra's production, where they roast, I don't know, 2-3 tons a week. And this is Reza, the roast master, and my good friend. And you can see I've caught them on a pretty busy day. And this is really a beautiful 70 kilo Loring. And if you are here as a student, you are very welcome to also hang out in the roastery and speak with Reza and the other guys here, and make yourself espresso or cappuccino or whatever you want, and you can see all the equipment and take all the pictures you want and get inspired on what to get and workflows and stuff like that. So that's another great thing with Coffee Mind Academy, that we actually we are actually embedded in a roastery, a Danish roastery, that is a roastery that I've been part of since 2005. I'm not part-time owner, and there's no cross-ownership between Coffee Mind and Contra, but it's since 2005, so that's 16 years of friendship and collaboration, and that's also an asset for you as a student if you are here. But now this is in the e-learning course, so you are here virtually, obviously. So I'm really happy to show you this place, and this is also what you'll get a more deep insight into when I roast on the individual roasters.